Welcome, everybody, to our first episode of TikToks, where I'm going to be doing some short interview style kind of podcast things with different kinds of people. On this first episode today, I have my good friend with me, and we're going to be talking about video game dailies. I recently got over my addiction, and I just wanted to talk about it because I think it's an interesting thing to talk about. So we have a set of questions we're going to get into today. Let's um, let's just jump right into it, I guess, right? Since there's not really anything we have to shill or worry about. I'm gonna start with a very generic, basic question. Okay, I'm just gonna t-ball this to you. It's gonna be simple.
Okay.
How do you feel about dailies?
Um, I feel like the question's very vague because it's not vague because I know what you're asking me, but to
Uh
answer
huh.
that, I feel like it's extremely vague because I'm okay with the concept of dailies, but I think it depends how the dailies are conducted and or
Sure.
whether or
Okay.
not they
So
gatekeep you from something.
I guess let's go with that. What do you think? That's because that's interesting. What do you think is a good version of a daily versus a bad like or not version but iteration, right?
Okay, it's hard to answer this because the types of games that normally have dailies are gacha shit.
Uh huh.
Um, And also because there's not many games where I play where I actually focus on the daily, quote unquote focus on the
Uh
daily.
huh.
Like when I get on Apex, I don't even look at my challenges. When I
Oh,
get
that's
on
that's totally fair.
League, well, there's not really dailies as far as I'm aware on League unless you're doing the battle pass stuff or
Uh huh.
teamfight tactics. So I'll pursue the missions if I can get like a free skin or something basically.
Oh, that makes
Which
sense.
kind of happens often, but I mean, I'm not guaranteed a good skin because there's a million skins in the game now. Um, I feel like in terms of gacha games, I just think gacha games, the mechanics of gacha and their rates and stuff are absolutely scummy. And I don't like dailies in a lot of gacha games because a lot of gacha games don't have much gameplay going for it. Like it's literally just JPEGs or auto battlers. So that's why I don't like dailies in that regard, because I feel like they're just a way to gatekeep you to spend more money. If the games had more of a gameplay feeling to it, because when I look at an ad for a gacha game on a phone, I look at the gameplay, quote unquote gameplay for a second. I'm like, I feel like it didn't matter if I played this game or just looked at it like a GIF of it. I feel like I just wouldn't care to play this, or rather deal with the dailies.
That makes sense. So I mean, so I guess what we're getting at is like, because earlier you said something about like dailies that gatekeep you, right? Like that was my main problem back when I was playing Genshin and when I was playing like some other mobile games and stuff like that. That I felt like I needed to do the dailies just to progress in the actual game itself, right? Like I felt like a waste to not do the dailies because they just, there was nothing. Well, first off, there was like barely anything else to do in the game, and the resources they gave you were were good, were important, right? Um, and then there's things like you said in Apex and stuff like that, where sometimes you just don't care. But also, you played Apex a lot, right? So
Yeah,
you
so the
probably
point of the dailies on Apex, I think, is mostly for, don't quote me because I even barely look at them, but I think it's mostly to achieve Battle Pass XP. But I never buy the Battle Pass anyway, so it doesn't even matter. But I
yeah.
mean, the one thing about it depends on the game how dailies are done. For example, in dailies in like Genshin, you go do this mission, right? Dailies in Apex, it's hey, you can do this if you want, like damage with shotgun. It's like personal challenges to the game. It's not like you have to go and do this. I mean, there's some missions like that, like land here, drop here, but
hmm
it feels like it ends up just like it just feels very optional because it just adds to the battle pass. You don't have the battle pass, cool, it doesn't matter.
And also, like usually it's stuff that just happens normally or during play too, right? Like if it's get
Yeah.
like headshots or
Yeah, a lot of challenges can be
SMG
done at
damage.
anywhere, like any gun anywhere, or just you just find one. Like, yeah, so sometimes you can just accomplish them without even realizing you're supposed to do it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's always like that's the best scenario for dailies, right? When you're just playing the game normally and you're just like, oh hey, I have stuff that I can that I can claim because I was
Yeah,
playing the game.
I feel like there's a bridge where you have to make a decision. Am I playing this game just because and doing the dailies because I like playing the games? I might as well do the dailies. Or am I playing this game literally just to do the dailies, but I don't even like the game?
Yeah, because I have some weird fixation with with finishing the game, or not even finishing the game, but with earning things and collecting things in the game.
Yeah.
Um,
In Apex's case, it's just nothing unless you have a battle pass. It feels like nothing's really collectible. So, I mean,
right? Because
it's
yeah,
loot
because that's just the
boxes.
nature. Yeah, that's the nature of battle royales, right?
Yeah.
Um, I know that there wasn't really a lot of different games that I played that had like a set like dailies. There was one where it's like I just like log on the daily log on one, and that one I didn't mind too much. I did that one for Minion Masters for I played that game for maybe like a month, right? I don't know if you remember, but I played the game for like a month, and then after a month I just dropped it, and all I did was log on every day just to claim my free roll and to claim my free like um, login money and stuff like that. And I did that for so long up until the point where they removed the free roll daily.
I mean, when you logged on, what was the reward for the dailies? Like, what
So
was the
so
benefit?
so the benefit was you'd get money and like some sort of or the currency, and you could spend those on buying. What I was doing is I was hoarding packs essentially, and so I'd log on and get money or some of the currency, and then I would use that money and other currency to buy packs. And I had amassed something of like over 100 something packs, over like 160 packs, um, through just logging on every day, right? And that way, I told myself that if I ever wanted to play the game again, I could start and I could just fully jump into it and just like spend a bunch of stuff and get a bunch of cards immediately, and that way I wouldn't have to wait. But it also wasn't a problem to me because it was like 1 to 2 minutes. Even though it was daily, it was like 1 to 2 minutes daily compared to Genshin, where I had to spend like an hour and a half sometimes, right? Just to
And okay, honestly, if you're spending an hour and a half on dailies, you're probably out of your world level or you're trolling on your
well, it's not even just dailies, right? Because I would
Oh,
do
just like
I
other
would do
challenges?
dailies. I counted doing resin as dailies too.
Oh, okay. I
So
don't do all my
I,
resin every day.
yeah, I counted spending resin, all of my resin every time I logged on as a daily, and I because something I got on did every day, right? Although it wasn't labeled in the game as a daily, to me it was a daily because that's something that I worked on every day.
Yeah, that's pretty long
Um,
for a daily. Um,
and doing some of the bonus XP, right? Because the battle pass, at least the free track of the battle pass, does give you some stuff. So I try to get XP during that, and so sometimes I'd spend some time doing that stuff. Oh, and the I'd also work on weeklies as dailies too, right? So like working on um the what are they called? I already forgot what they're called, but it's like the reputation for the cities.
yeah.
Yeah, working on that stuff. So that's another thing I counted as like a daily, doing one of each of those things. So that game took up a lot of my time, and it was just for me to do dailies, and so
Yeah. I also think it depends on like the resource you're getting. If it matters, you're getting it and saving it. Because if it's gonna come in, like, 'cause if you actually expect yourself to be playing this game in the future.
hmm
Um, so with with the Genshin Battle Pass and daily stuff, um, if you actually, so technically, if you don't care about roles and you don't like care about the characters they give you outside of the base cast and like free roles you just get from like events or doing other stuff, um, you can just play Genshin up until you've done all the quests without giving a shit about commissions. I think you unlock commissions at like level 20, so you can't even do it up until then. But um, oh, like stuff like picking unique things from each region. It
hmm
actually
that
ends
was
up
annoying.
coinciding with the gameplay, unless you're trying to speed run it,
hmm
because a lot of the unique stuff from each region is stuff you need to ascend characters
Yeah,
irregardless.
yeah,
So that ends up just kind of overlapping anyways. Um, and you don't have to literally pick up every unique thing. There's some good routes that are just really fast and easy to do, and you can do it over the span of a couple of days rather than just sitting
when
at
they
all.
refresh, yeah,
Yeah, which is what I usually do because there's some spots that I just personally know of just from playing the game. Um, but yeah, like you don't have to have roles in that game to play the game. Um, so I don't know how I know some games might power creep, right? Genshin's still early on, so maybe they haven't power creeped yet. so that it feels like you have to roll a specific character to enjoy the
Succeed.
game.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that because there are people in Genshin that totally are literal free to plays that don't even roll at all. But that means they have to like playing the actual
Yeah,
free to
yeah, they have
characters.
to be happy with those characters, and they have to not worry about the new characters. Like, I mean, like I said, like back when I quit, it was because for the longest time we'd all been trying to pull Chi Chi, and then I also wanted to pull the Fire Rocker Girl, um,
You got neither. Oh,
and
you
I
got a
got
girl,
neither. I know
right?
I got
No,
neither. I got
I think
neither.
Clara got the girl.
I pulled the other 4 star that was on the banner, the assassin ice dude,
Assassin Ice. Oh, you know,
like or
okay.
the spirit hunter,
Yeah,
or
he's
like
like a like some kind of spirit hunter or something.
or exorcist or something.
Exorcist, yeah.
He I pulled him like 5 times,
You
and
like
I was
that?
just like, no.
I actually think he's kind of cool, but I
He
just
is
got him so
cool.
late that I'm just like, I'm gonna save to build Rosaria on you because they're both
Not
cryo.
not only that, but it's like the thing of I already had invested so much in Noel, right? So
So you
it
just like
was
having two Claymore users.
it's just things that I would not have to re-level up a Claymore user, right? And then what do I do with Noel? Well, I don't know. All right. Let's see here. I was gonna ask. So currently, right now, how many different games do you actually do dailies for?
How many different games do I do dailies for?
Yeah,
As
yeah,
of
yeah.
this moment in time, literally just Genshin at most.
Okay.
And by dailies, if we're talking about dailies, it's just a fact that I most likely do the commissions every time. Resin, I don't burn every time.
Mhm.
I think the condensed resin system made that quite literally doubles the speed at which you can burn that shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so you can
As long as
if
you're
you're
catching butterflies and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, if you well, it's pretty easy because you can only make 3 per day. Anyways, yeah, because it takes like 120 so each one you make requires 40 resin. So you're burning through 120 resin, and then you can only have up to 3 at a time. So as long as you're not using them like as long as you just catch like 3 of them, it's pretty. You've already
Efficient.
like
Yeah.
even like yeah. At least I just only make 3 a day because I don't do much resin stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, so it's quite literally double the time. So unironically, I could probably burn all my resin in like 10 minutes or 15 minutes flat. If I do stuff that I have good matchups with.
Mhm.
Uh, um,
And I mean, sometimes you have to spend your stored resin though, right? Because you only have 3 at a
uh,
time. So,
yeah,
but that isn't as hard as it was before, right? It's definitely a lot more expedited now.
yeah.
Um.
They've done a lot of quality of life changes for farming resin if you really feel like it, which I don't because I like just running around the overworld. I'm basically just I'm doing a lot of the commission stuff because I'm basically just waiting for new content. So I'm waiting for the next regions. Like I did Dragon Spine and I burned through that really fast. I still have some missions I haven't finished, so I need to do those. But I'm only just doing commissions because they get me primo gems because
Yeah.
I don't want to
Actual
spend
money.
like a fat stacks of cash for a couple of rolls. Yeah,
Yeah.
because
And,
I'm saving for characters I actually want.
okay, so then since Genshin's the only one, are you playing? And I mean, also the thing is, you enjoy playing Genshin as a base game, right? Because you like running around and stuff. So,
Yeah, I'm
um,
basically just waiting for new regions. I mean, I don't mind killing stuff too with my characters,
yeah.
because eventually I'm gonna build other characters too, right? I have a
Hmm.
lot of resources saved up. I just haven't spent them, just literally just because. Um, but yeah, I mean, I actually like walking around in Genshin.
Okay. Were there any dailies that you're no longer, or any games that you were playing that like had actual
Hearthstone,
dailies? Hearthstone. Okay, but did you actually ever play Hearthstone?
yeah, but not good, because it's
Okay.
like it's hard to get a good. It's hard to get a good stacked deck going. I'm not saying you can't do good with a mediocre deck. I'm just saying it's hard to get, really
Yeah.
cool decks
No, I
without
mean,
spending money because
I
it's
definitely
pack
remember.
based.
I definitely remember playing your jank decks, where you main decked Chillwind Yeti and quite a bit of them. And that was always really funny. But
Yeah, I just like the decks where I buried stuff in other people's decks, so I just screw with their draws and just annoyed them. Um, like from the D, I can't remember. It was the one that buried like three like 4/4s in your deck or
yeah,
something.
you're talking about the
Is that rotated out? I can't
I
remember
don't
what
know.
that
Yes,
was.
yes, it did. But it's the I know what you're talking about. It's in the Anubisath something or another. That's not crazy. And then so it's Hearthstone really the only other thing that you had like dailies on
No,
that you just ended
I'm
up quitting.
sure there must be another. Let me. Overwatch didn't have dailies. I know
No.
that. I
Okay.
unironically think that's the only game I've, besides Genshin and Hearthstone, and I think that's the only one I've actually had real dailies for. Does Valorant have dailies? I can't remember.
Yes.
It was just for Battle Pass stuff, right? I'm pretty
No.
sure every time I
It's for
booted
X.
Valorant,
It's for XP.
I'm pretty sure every time I booted Valorant, if I got something done as a challenge or a daily, it was by complete accident.
Yeah, they have their daily missions and their weekly missions.
So yeah, those are the only two. I imagine that if you play many different games with full of dailies, it would burn out real quick.
I
But
believe it.
like when I was playing Hearthstone, I logged on. I'm like, you know what? Trying to play free to play, I feel like I'm getting nowhere. So yeah, and maybe a tiny bit of Legends of Runeterra, but I think that card games just aren't my thing.
That's fair.
If I could, maybe they would if I had access to every card from the very beginning. But that's not how that works. So
I
yeah,
mean, maybe
it's hard.
that's what the bazaar is trying to do, right? They're
Yeah,
gonna
that's
work
interesting.
on they're gonna
That
work
is
on
good.
a kind of like a League of Legends based thing, right? Where
Yeah,
you buy just whole characters that come with their own custom decks, and you have
that's
all
why
access
I
to all
know
cards.
I'd probably never invest in card games in real life because that's even that feels really hard to do, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I don't know to commit
I mean,
to real life
yeah,
card
you
games.
just buy singles, or I mean, there's people who just play archetype decks, like me and Tony also, right? He collects and also just
Yeah,
really
the
buys
upside
archetype
of
cards.
real life card games is that if you do have a group, you can actually trade with them if you really need to.
You can
That's the one
find out.
benefit of
Yeah,
physicals.
you can go to like spots where you can trade with people and things like that.
Yeah,
Um, but that's not the case so much in digital card games.
yeah,
Although I will say that Legends of Runeterra has been quite generous. Like the reason I don't log on every day now to play Legends of Runeterra is because there's really no need for me to, because I have pretty much every card in the entire collection except a
yeah. So
few
you
that
can
are
just
like
go
super
chill out whenever
fringe.
you want to play it.
And I'm stacked on resources. Like I have tons of resources. So whenever we get this next expansions coming out in a little while, I should be able to
Have they
craft
announced
everything
it?
I need.
Like what
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is?
they did. Yeah, it's Shurima. Um,
Interesting.
we're getting Shurima, and the next champion to be added, I think before that
It's
is
gonna be a Z, right? Oh,
we're getting a Phelios. Um, before we
heck
get
yeah.
Shurima. And a Phelios looks about just as complicated.
As he does in League.
Uh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Um, which I guess like let's talk about that because we talked about the missions and stuff for League, and I feel like we can get closer to that too because I mean we have missions in Valorant and there's like weekly versus daily and stuff like that. So without it
Oh wait,
being
I lied.
dailies,
It's
uh
not
huh,
necessarily a daily, but Siege had weeklies.
that makes sense. I think I remember those too. Well, maybe I don't. Oh no, yeah,
They're
yeah, because
Uplay
you had to
weeklies.
go to the
Yeah.
UPlay weekly. So yeah, and you had to redeem them. You had to first accept them,
Oh,
and
okay.
then you had to redeem them
I think the fact that you first have to accept it when there's no real reason to
to not.
is
Yeah.
dumb.
Yes.
Yeah.
It seems like it's just there so that if like
If
they're
you
like if
forget,
they
then you gotta pay
forget, then they're
more.
screwed. Yeah.
So I hate
Right.
that. Honestly,
Diabolical.
yeah, I think that's so stupid.
That's kind of crazy. I don't know. Like I guess since you haven't played too many dailies, I had a question here with something about can you describe how it feels to quit dailies, right? And I feel like that doesn't really apply too much because you haven't had anything you really need to quit. But and you might have not just like you said, card games aren't really your thing, so you might not have been as compelled to do like Hearthstone and stuff like that. But um, man, like I put that question there because I remember like when I quit Genshin, when I quit these other games too, like back when I quit Dragalia, when I quit the Skullgirls mobile game, because those games I literally only played to do the dailies. Like what I played of those games was doing the dailies. Even if I enjoy the games and I think they're good games besides that, all I did was get on every day and do the dailies. And afterwards, it just felt so good. There's just
Yeah,
something
I mean,
nice about
just
quitting a game that you know is just taking up your time.
that's me with like literally everything because it's nice knowing you have less responsibilities, quote unquote.
Right? Yeah, like your schedule
I don't like
opens
being
up. There's a
timed
hop in your
on
step.
stuff.
Um, it's crazy. It's crazy. So, but yeah. So when I went to ask for like League and stuff like that, are there any games that you just try to play daily, even if you don't have dailies, but stuff that you're just like, yeah, this is something I want to get on and do, or there's some sort of progression
Um,
that I have to make.
I cannot think of any at the moment that I do that with. Besides, But oh, besides that, during my breaks, I just go, okay, I gotta try and beat the single player game real quick
Hmm.
so I can beat another
Yeah,
single player game,
yeah,
experience it.
yeah. Because you've been
But
streaming a lot
besides
of the
that,
Resident Evil series lately, right? So,
yeah, I had
um,
a bunch of them, so I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna play them. Like, geez. Oh, when I went from the old RE to the new one, the very initial period was so bad because I was expecting it to play like old RE in some mechanics, and but they've revamped it to be modern. I was just like, I'm stupid.
let's go.
But I mean, the missions I have to say I hate the most is you have to do this mission, and it only works if you're in a pre-made group. I hate those missions.
Yes, yes, yes. That definitely like stuff that you can't just like squeeze in every so often, like you can't chip out at throughout the day is pretty annoying. It's like things that require, like you said, like multiple
Yeah, it's like
people, or you have to do this a certain way, and that way is not like a very consistent. Um,
yeah, like if you enjoyed playing the game solo, right? Or like you don't have friends that play the specific game, you
mhm.
the doing the pre-made is so difficult because
Not
not
only that,
many
but like
people want to invite a random person to their group unless they really have to.
yeah, sometimes your friends may just not be on, right? You might be playing
Yeah.
late, you don't have a chance to play early with them, or people are busy and shit.
Yeah,
So
if you're a wage slave, yeah.
yeah, right. If you have to go back in the cage in the morning, you don't have a lot of time to do what you need to do. And like I'm glad that like I've kicked it, and it's good to hear that you're not a slave to any to any dailies. But I almost fell into it again. Back when I quit Genshin, I started playing Dauntless a little bit. And there's like this like log in every day and find these like little you just like tap these little like fire torches. Not really torches, like little bonfires, and you collect 10 of them per day, and you get some sort of like little XP bonus, whatever. And um, when I started playing the game, I did it the first day, then I played the game again, just to actually play the game, and I did them again that second day. And the third day, I was like, huh, what do I feel like playing? Well, I could just log on to Dauntless and get those things. I was like, no, I can't. If I log on, I'm actually gonna play the game. Like I'm not gonna log on just as dailies and quit. So I've been like really hard on myself to make sure that I don't open a game and just open it to do the dailies and call it a day. Um, because I used to do it even with Monster Hunter, right? Back when I first really got into Monster Hunter, I made sure that at least at some point during the day I would open the game to press triangle, collect my login rewards, and then log off. Um,
Controller player.
Controller player. I definitely think Monster Hunter is better on controller than it is on mouse and
Probably
keyboard.
because the PC port's botched like many ports, huh?
That could be fair. I think it's just awkward. It's just an awkward layout. Um,
I feel like there's mouse acceleration or something on that game. I don't know.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. I was looking at Rise, and Rise looks pretty cool.
Oh, Monster Hunter Rise.
Yeah, yeah,
When
yeah.
people say Rise, I instantly think of Rise, Son of Rome, even though there's like no one plays that.
Yeah, yeah. I remember that game existing, and then I remember it disappearing too. Um, but yeah, they have like monster riding in the newest one. They're gonna like you get to well not only ride the monsters like they did before, but you get to control the monster, and you get to like essentially use one monster to beat up another monster. It looks pretty tight, but that's cool. All right. I don't think I actually have any other questions. Like honestly, 3 to 4 of the questions that I had planned just immediately disappeared as soon as I just overestimated how much you had done with dailies and how much shit you had
Oh, what were
you've
your other
experienced with dailies.
questions?
It was like what.
Like I'm inapplicable for them or something?
Yeah, well, it's like how many different games do you play dailies for? And you're like
Yeah, I
Genshin,
answered that.
and I was like,
Well, I mean,
oh
currently, right? But
yeah,
throughout my
right.
history, it's been
Yeah, but like
a
the other
handful of
question is like,
months.
what are you tempted? What dailies are you tempted to quit? I mean, I don't think you're tempted to quit Genshin since you're playing it
Yeah,
currently,
okay,
right?
okay,
And
okay.
then I was like, do you have any dailies you'll never quit? Which isn't really fair because like right now you're enjoying Genshin, but I don't know if like you see yourself playing Genshin for forever, and you don't even really consider it as a daily too, right? Um,
Um, I mean, it is a daily. It just depends what I do, what you consider it. Like, I don't do like literally everything there is to do. I just make sure I get the four
the
commission missions
base,
done.
yeah, the basement one, get the 60 Prima gems and call it a day,
Yeah.
at least. At least. And there's another question
Um,
of when do you start doing dailies, but it's like I don't know. I don't even remember what
when
the
do I
first game.
start?
When
Like if I
when
have a
did you
specific
start?
time.
Like what was
Oh,
the first game that you were like doing dailies for?
that's
Because
hard to say, but I want to say it was Hearthstone.
I can see that mine. I don't know if mine was Hearthstone as well.
What was before
Um,
that?
I don't remember. We
Or was
played
there like
League,
I
and
feel like
League didn't really have
dailies,
missions. League didn't really have missions. Um,
not in the daily sense.
Dailies might not even have been that
Yeah,
popular back
dailies
then,
weren't a
right?
popular thing back then. It was very limited to specifically gachas, if it was.
I mean, like
I mean, which
MMOs
it
might have
still
had
is,
like
but
daily quests or something like that too, right? There might have been something like that, but
yeah.
um, I don't really. Battle Royales probably did too. Well, even then, BRs weren't super big. I don't even know if PUBG
VRs
was
had
out by the
their
time that
big
we
thing
played
by
back then.
2016, I think, right? That's when
Yeah,
it happened.
yeah.
Um, back then the hype back then around the 2012 and up period and around that area was like open world crafting games, right? I think that was what was hype at the time.
And
And
even
then
then,
S.
I don't think those had dailies either. Um,
Nah.
that's weird. That's crazy to think how prevalent dailies are now, right? Because dailies are pretty common
See if
nowadays. At
these
least
have
the concept.
dailies.
Yeah, Sea of Thieves does have dailies,
What
but
benefit you get?
it's not like well, no, it is dailies. It's just like but they literally last like 24 hours or whatever, and they're like, today go out to do this thing and you get this reward. So it's always something different, like hunt a megalodon or turn in this specific thing to this person or find these books on these islands. So, and I honestly haven't been doing those. What I have been trying to do is the Christmas event, which we got over $100,000 when we played last night because we did the Christmas event and we had like we were flying a certain flag that gave us bonuses for how much loot we were getting and all this other stuff, um, and it was crazy. So we made a lot of money and we tried to do some of the event stuff. But for that, I haven't really been. I used to when I first got into Sea of Thieves, I thought about getting on and doing some dailies. The only one that I ever really did do was like for a weekly, and that's because it gave me like a special cosmetic once you did it. So that's like the one thing that I remember that I was like, I have to get on to do this for Sea of Thieves, because it was just fishing. I just sat there and fished, and then
Wow, very
eventually I got the
exciting.
cosmetic. Sometimes I don't know. There were sometimes we got on to fish, and we do like there's like a special like low rarity item that you get via fishing. It's like an ashen key, and it's to open certain like ashen chests, which usually have good loot in them. But and we found a key, but that means we would have had to go find the chests too. So it was just bothersome. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't know what the dailies are like in other gacha games, but considering most of the things you do in those are like just JPEGs moving on the screen or something.
yeah.
I what I like about dailies in other games like Genshin and Apex is that you can actually just go out and do something more than just click two buttons or some shit, and then hey,
Mhm.
my
It's
JPEG turned into
smiling
a
now.
GIF.
It's
Whoa,
smiling.
yeah.
Pog.
So that's why I think that the more variety you add to your dailies, the better. Some I guess some people would rather dailies be just log on, that's it.
Mhm.
Um, but you know, I
I,
think the
I
more unique they
I
become.
think it's better for games to have interactive dailies. But it's just the thing about it. Like Street Fighter Five has dailies.
Right? Do what?
It's like log on to training mode or get 10 knockdowns or do 10 jump ins or something like that. It's
But I
stuff
feel
that
like
you
those
get
always
just
play
by
themselves, no matter what
exactly,
character you play, right?
exactly,
Basically.
yeah. Um, I haven't seen any that are too specific between characters, but I haven't gotten on to play that game too much either. So, but again, like dailies are everywhere, right? Oh, another game that I'm probably actually the dailies for is like Pokemon Go or something. I didn't like I count. I'm gonna count going out and swiping Pokestops and like using all your eggs for the day and all that stuff as dailies too. Like something that like the name dailies usually means like some sort of mission or anything that you get when you log in. It's like, hey, do this today. But honestly, to me, I've always viewed dailies as the way a game presents something for you to do every day. Like that's not necessarily like a mission or something, but like like resin. Resin isn't a daily technically, right? But I count it as a daily because it's something that I
Yeah, a lot
could
of
do
people
every
do.
day,
Because
right?
yeah, it's if you don't do it every day, you're missing out, quote unquote, on
Exactly.
potential resin stuff.
It's something that the game compels you to get on and do every day. Um, but that's pretty crazy. I kind of shudder to think going forward, kind of how far these dailies will go, and um, if dailies have reached their peak, right? Like, where else do we go from? Like, if we continue to do dailies,
Uh,
what even is left there to do? Like how can you take this any further?
what do you even take us any further? Like how to keep
The
people playing your
concept,
game?
the concept, right?
Or
Um, like because games as a service is growing, and that's not gonna go away. I think we're gonna see a lot of free to play games
makes
that make
money?
money through skins and through having you log on and play every
Scams,
day.
yes.
Those two. I'm still not gonna get over how expensive Valorant skins are. That's insane. When the game itself is questionably optimized and questionably ran. But that's a different conversation. I should probably have a whole talk dedicated to my feelings on Riot games, but um, maybe
I
another
mean,
time.
I feel like I cannot think of off the top of my head. It's like I play a lot of
hmm
games like this, but off the top of my head, I cannot think of one game that has like a ton of like transactions, and I feel like like the amount of stuff that's in the game or like what the content is. I feel like the base price is very reasonable.
I mean, we
I
talked
feel like I
about
don't see
last
that ever
time.
nowadays.
Well, we talked about it like literally the other day. The one time I remember us talking about it was the Borderlands 2,
Oh yeah,
right?
but it's not modern. That was like 2012.
Yeah,
So
that's exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, right.
I feel like people have realized, wait a second, instead of charging like a couple of dollars for something, we can start charging like 15, 10, like whatever. But with the like, it's just so much.
I mean, honestly, to be fair, um, I think Legends of Runeterra, like to give Riot some like lime, like some good spotlight. I think Legends of Runeterra has pretty fair monetization for the most part. Like, it's all you can buy like shards to buy cards and things like that, but you're capped weekly. You can only get
What,
a
from
certain
spending
number
money, like real
from
money or what?
yeah from buying cards with real money. Like I think you can only buy like 3 legendaries a week or something like that. Um,
Wait, you don't buy pack, you can just straight up buy a card.
they don't have they have chests instead of
Yeah,
packs,
which
right?
is which is like the equivalent of pack.
Or
Yeah.
it's the same thing. Yeah, but if you buy stuff in the store, what you're doing is you're buying wild cards, which is essentially like you know how everything in a Hearthstone has a set dust amount. Um, essentially, instead of buying a card pack, you're buying a certain number of dust to craft a card of that rarity. Um, and so for I thought it was like three legendary wild cards a week, and you can turn any of those legendary wild cards into any legendary you want. Um, and I didn't think that was. I haven't looked at prices for the buying cards in general. I just know the majority of their money comes from selling emotes and boards. And I've spent some money. I've spent like $20 so I could get like the Halloween board, and I bought myself a pet that goes on the board. Um, but that's pretty much it, right? Like, and that didn't feel like a rip. To me, the Valorant stuff seems like a rip, and like I think League skins aren't too bad actually.
With the Valor stuff, to get some skins, you have to buy in a bundle or collection to get it, right?
Yeah, well, the thing is, you get a discount if you buy them in a bundle. You get the knife for free if you buy
Yeah,
it in a
but
bundle.
I feel like
But
everything ends up being so overpriced anyways that the discount is still overpriced
yes,
regardless
yes, correct.
from what you would want to
'Cause- I mean,
charge.
the knife by itself is $35. Last time
Yeah,
I checked.
I don't like
That's
that.
insane. That's insane. And I feel like, um, why? It's like why do this? It's crazy because sometimes games die because of that. Like Evolve died for the same thing. There was too many cosmetics and not enough. The thing is that there was too many cosmetics when the game launched, and there wasn't enough people to like the game outside of that. So they just looked at it and they're like, okay, well, I don't. This is the marketing was awkward. This is not the game I thought it was, and also why is there so much DLC on day one? So people don't like it.
Yeah, I don't know. But I feel like the microtransactions thing's a different talk then, right? I feel
Yeah,
like
yeah,
let's
for
talk
sure,
about that.
for sure. We can
Um,
definitely round back to that some other time. Um,
okay, so what was the fourth question? Or did you ask that? I think you asked at the very
yeah,
beginning,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
That was the beginning
When you
one.
start doing dailies. But I think we're good then. I think you
Okay.
can round it out here. Thanks for being on. Is there anything if people want to find you, where can they do that? If you
No?
want to let them know. All right, cool, very good. You heard it here, folks. Don't find them. Um, thanks for staying together. I hope you enjoyed. Uh, we'll be back again with this at some point. I'm not really sure what the upload schedule for this is going to be as of yet, but I have some other cool things planned. Let me know if you enjoyed it. Let me know if you liked it. Let me know what you want us to talk about next and who you want me to talk about it with. That's pretty much it from here. We'll see you next time.